critical act.
A leading rod in constitutionalism, Professor Oloka Onyango, has revealed that altering fundamental aspects of the Constitution destroys the soul of the supreme law of the country. Oloka, who teaches constitutional law at Makerere University, was speaking during a human rights law and constitutionalism forum attended by MPs.
Certain fundamental procedures must not be subject to frequent or arbitrary change.
Uganda's constitution, predicated on its turbulent past, was hailed as one of the best written laws in Africa. Yet in 2005, a key provision on limiting term limits was lifted. Oloka says that resulted into Parliament ceding some of its powers to the executive. According to the Dawn, as a result, Uganda's much-vaunted march towards constitutionalism has since then slowed.
Uganda as a country has thus been over-constitutionalized. And yet, we still lack constitutionalism.
Oloka was once a leading exponent against lifting term limits that he suggested that such a provision should be entrenched. He also called for punitive action against those who want to advance their personal interests.
In 1992, when we were debating the draft of what eventually became the 1995 Constitution, I proposed that should anybody tamper with then Article 102, Clause 2, which was the provision on term limits, that they should be charged with treason.
President Museveni is not eligible to contest in 2021 because he will be above 75. However, a recent proposal by the Nachifuma County MP, Sechitoleko Kafero, elicited suspicion that the decision to lift the age limit remains on the cards.
Why was it imposed? It was imposed to knock out then ex-president Apollo Milton Obote. As the election approached, the idea was put a barrier, prevent Obote, who was in exile at the time, from coming back a third time. It's very clear, the history is very clear. Even though people with more sober minds said, what is the rationale behind this age limit? Now, as people approach the age of Milton Obote, they realize, oh my God, we made a mistake. So you go back to do what? To change the rules. That is not constitutionalism.
He also used his lecture to call for accountability from Parliament.
But questions of accountability. And since we're in a parliamentary forum, I think we need to talk about this question of the accountability of Parliament, of both ruling party members as well as of members of the opposition. We sent you to Parliament to represent us. And when we hear you representing yourselves, obviously we have a problem.
Speaking with brutal candor, Oloka commented about the recent controversy in which members of IGAD were taken to Kamuli in the Speaker's Hotel for a summit.
Not only must justice be done, it must be seen to be done. Not only must there not be a conflict of interest, but there must not be an appearance of a conflict of what? Interest. There are 116 districts in Uganda. There are at least 50 districts in eastern Uganda. There are at least 12 districts in the wider Busoga region. Right? There are at least 3 districts in the wider Kamuli region. So how come this conference ended up in the Speaker's Hotel? That's all I'm asking.
Former DP party president Paul Kawanga Semogerere revealed that the country has made gains in constitutionalism which should be guarded.
For many people in leadership, or for some people in leadership, they've got other considerations. And some anoint themselves as the chosen ones with a mission to lead their own country. And in that way, any threat to their leadership cannot be tolerated.
Kampala's Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago implored lawmakers to walk the talk in regard to the question of constitutionalism, rule of law and human rights.
You ask yourself, if, for example, you go to the street and you challenge these people and say, look at these hoodlums, they are inciting violence. We are being called hooligans. Then you say, okay, let's go to litigation. They organize hooligans to attack us in the court, and nobody is there to protect us, not even in Parliament.
Raymond Mujuni, NTV.